I just got back from a pharmacy this morning, and I thought I would talk about the difference between a French pharmacy and an American pharmacy. When you go into a pharmacy in the US, it's very hands-off. Like, the pharmacist will help you if you need help, but you really do a lot of the browsing yourself. You go to the section of the store that you need and you find what you need, and you can go check out without ever talking to a pharmacist. Actually, the person at the counter is usually not a pharmacist. It's usually just a cashier at the front of the store. The pharmacists in a lot of pharmacies are at the very back of the store, and that's where you get your over-the-counter medication or your prescription medication. So if you've gone to the doctor and you come in with a prescription, that's when you would go talk to the pharmacist or drop off your prescription and maybe come back to pick it up. But you really wouldn't talk to the pharmacist unless you had a specific question. And I've definitely talked to a pharmacist in the US before, but not very often. Most of the time when I go in for something like a cold, I would just go to the section that I need to go to, buy cough syrup or whatever I'm buying, and I would just take it up to the counter to purchase it. In France, when you go into a pharmacy, it's more hands-on. The pharmacist wants to know a lot of information about you, kind of like when you would go to the doctor. You would answer questions like, once I had a stomach bug. Before we moved to France, we were visiting my husband's family, and I got a stomach bug, and I happened to be pregnant. So there are a lot of medications you can't take when you're pregnant. And so my husband went to the pharmacist for me, and he explained that I had a stomach bug and that I was pregnant. And so there are certain medications that I couldn't take, and the pharmacist helped navigate that. And you could definitely do that in the US, but in France, they just seem to be more involved. And even when you're shopping in the store, like today we went in for sunscreen. So I went in and picked up some sunscreen, and the pharmacist came out and she showed me some other sunscreen. I actually ended up buying this one as well, and my husband picked up some for him. And when I was purchasing the sunscreen, the pharmacist has seen us before, and she knew we had kids, and she wanted to see if this sunscreen was for us or for our children. And this one does happen to be good for kids. So she just wanted to make sure we were taken care of. And that's been my experience when I go in. I've heard of people going in with maybe just looking for some type of skin cream, or maybe they have acne, or maybe just want some type of anti-aging serum, something. You can talk to your pharmacist about your skin type. They're very informed about the products that they carry, and so they can really help you, and really like a doctor would. So it's a very different experience than what you would find in the US, which I find kind of funny, because in the US, everything is more customer oriented. And in France, I find that the customer is not always right. Here, it's not a very customer driven country. And so it's kind of the opposite here. It's very customer oriented when you go into a pharmacy. As we were checking out, the pharmacist said she could get us some samples, and that's another thing here. You often are given samples, and when you go to the pharmacy, and you wouldn't really have that in the US as much, maybe at the doctor's office, but not really at the pharmacy. And so she gave me some lotion and soap for my kids, and she gave me some little like serum for me, and some like face wash or something. But it's just something to try, and it's just a nice little perk of going to the French pharmacies. Sometimes the pharmacist will recommend other things, like if my daughter had a cold, they might recommend something to clean her nose. Like the French love to tell you to clean your child's nose. It's kind of like a spray. It's kind of like a mix between a spray and like a neti pot, but you like squeeze the like saline water into their nose to like clean it out. All doctors will recommend this. All pharmacists will recommend it. Kids hate it. But anytime my child is sick, we are told, clean their nose, clean their nose. And it is good. It does help them recover. It helps keep them from getting ear infections from that fluid buildup. But that's something that you might be offered when you go in to fill a prescription if your child has a bad cold or something, or does have an ear infection. Maybe on top of that, the pharmacist would suggest something else to help your child get better. And it's not a salesy, the French are not a culture that pushes products on you. In the US, like, we definitely have quotas in stores and you're trying to like meet a quota and hit sales goals. It's not like that here, so you don't feel like you're being pushed. You don't have products pushed on you. It really, you get the feeling that they really want to help you and your family and whoever you're taking care of to get better. So it really comes from a good place. Another interesting thing that pharmacists do here is if you forage for mushrooms, they are trained to identify the mushrooms that are safe to eat and those that are not. So you can actually take a basket of mushrooms into your pharmacist and have them look them over to make sure that they're safe to eat. You would never find this in the US. So I just think that's so interesting, and it's such a part of their culture, this foraging. And my father-in-law loves to go hunt for mushrooms. He knows, he's done it for years and knows what he's looking for. But if you didn't, it's so nice that you can go to someone who definitely can identify what you found and make sure it's safe. If you have been to France or the US and you've experienced the French pharmacy versus the US pharmacy, I'd love to hear what you think about that experience. For me, I like both, but it is really nice to have help when you need it. Sometimes US pharmacies are so busy filling prescriptions and there are not enough people on staff to be able to help you find something. Sometimes there are long lines. We have drive-thrus in the US for pharmacies, and so a lot of times you can't really get the help you need even if you did want to talk to someone. Whereas in France, even if it's busy, they will come out from behind the counter and show you what you need. Everyone gets that service. Sometimes the American in me just wants to go in and purchase the thing that I need, but it's something really nice. If you really need help, you'll get it, and even if you don't want help, you'll still get it. So but I think it's a really nice thing to be able to talk to someone and they'll help you find like really the right product that you need. Thanks for watching.